and welcome to AC Publishing. My name is Laleh Hancock, and today we have the books that create change, the interviews with the authors, and I'm so grateful to introduce Juanjo Suarez with you guys today and his book, The Neuroscience of Access Consciousness. Welcome, Juanjo. Can you hear me?
Hi, Laleh, how are you? It's uh, yes, I hear you. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys, and it was an amazing time for me since the book was launched, and thank you so much for this time.
Well, I'm so grateful to have you here. Access Consciousness itself was founded by Gary Douglas over 30 years ago. And it's had all these different adventures. It's like a full body of many different things, many tools, many books, many different techniques. And it was really cool that after 30 years, you actually decided to take a different spin with the books, with the tools, and actually create the neuroscience of access consciousness. So, would you like to maybe give us just a little brief overview of like what inspired you to actually even create this book?
Well, I always try to find a different way to see the things. And it's interesting because I am a physiotherapist here in Ecuador, and I study too something that it's psychoneuroimmunology. So this thing is how you think and your thoughts create hormones in your body, and how the hormones change the biological things in your body. So when I was in my professional way to find these things, I found the access tools, and it was like interesting for me because these tools have a very fast change in the bodies. And it was like interesting for me. Like I do another techniques, another therapist to the self-development or something like that. And when I found Access, it was like, wow, it's very fast. And the changes are so long in time, get back to the beginning. So I start to um I don't know, I start to go deep in the tools, and then I made my first bars class to try to understand everything. But no, I was more more lost than at the beginning. I don't find anything in the class. I just find this change and change and change. And at the time I tried to understand everything. And it was the interesting thing because I judge myself to understand. And during the classes, and when I was with Simone, she told me, "What if you don't judge yourself for to try to understand, and you just allow this?" And at that moment, the book start to bring this energy to show the access tools in a different way, in the way maybe that I know to how to share it with the world.
That is so cool. That's so cool. In the book, there's a lot of stories, like you bring your own experience into it, things that shifted and changed for you. Like, is there something that really stands out that you're like, wow, like that part of my life when I added the tools was really something that stood out when I was writing the book?
Mhm. Yes, well, it's interesting because I was with this idea to write a book, and when I started doing it, the book was like going on like himself. I just put in the computer and start texting something, and when I finish that part, I start to read what I do, and it was like, wow, it has a lot of sense for me. But it's like the tool, the book inviting me to do this, like co-creating this all this information that is in the book now. So it was interesting because it's like my history when I found Access, and it's joined to the neuroscience and some investigations that I found that has something to see, something to do with the tools of access consciousness. And you know, there are investigation that the 10 years ago or 20 years ago, when I say, oh, okay, these things supports how the brains work and how the brain change when you use these tools now.
Yeah. Actually, that particular thing, like one of the things that I wanted to talk about is one of your chapters is called the brain waves.
Yes.
And you wrote, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. The first thing is our brain is designed to complain when we born. Okay. I don't know any newborn in the world when he or she was hungry or is mad or something, they start too loud or smell or smiling or something like that. No, it's just cry, it's just screaming because our brain is designed to do.
again.
Go ahead.
Yes, our brain is designed to do these things, to do these jobs, and it's not bad. It's how we came from factory, let's say. And this is the waves in the brain that we have some like channels, like let's say, that we are more in connection with the outside of us. And it's like the beta wave. Like you are for everyone, you are um putting your attention in all these things out of you. And when you are more calm, more like in a inner space, you start to change that waves to the alpha, to the delta. And this is interesting because every time that you go more in yourself, when you are more you, you can change the space around you. And all these things, it's an invitation to change these waves, to go to the frenetic things, the stress and all these things, to a space of calm, of self confidence, of self consciousness around what is happening around you, and you can get out of the noise around you and in the world.
Yeah, it's actually been one of the greatest gifts because for me, growing up and my adulthood, I always thought I had like the monkey mind. Like I just couldn't get my head to just stop thinking. And
Yeah,
it really was the gift of the access bars that really opened the door for me. And my first session was on my birthday. Someone called me and said, "Hey, I just learned this thing. Can I come gift it to you on your birthday?" And it was funny because immediately my mouth said yes.
yeah,
Where normally my head, my mind would be asking more information. Hey, what is it? What do you do? What does it mean to have a bars? Like I didn't go
yeah,
there. It was yes. Okay. What time? That's it.
yes.
You know? And she messaged me a few times before we got together. And each time she's like, "Did you check out the website?" I'm like, "No, each time I went, I didn't really understand it." And it was the old website. And it was funny because it was like that's when it was also my body inviting me to something
Hmm.
different. And that's the piece that I would say also, with the Access tools, it wasn't just getting my mind to quiet, but it was
Yeah.
actually inviting me to a different communion with my body and I being able to create together. So, can you say more? Like, you were saying, like, as you were putting the book together, you called it investigation, but I call it more research. Like, what were things that you encountered about the body and the tools?
Look, this is an interesting thing, very interesting thing, because in the 40s, there was a psychoanalyst analyzing, I don't know, is it good? He made like a research with newborns baby in, and he was looking two different groups of babies. One of them has this body contact with the mother and with the carriers about them, and another one just they get the food, no touch. And the babies with no touch, they start to getting down, start to getting sick, and most of them die. So the thing is, the body has this sensation of safeness when you touch the body. Okay, so in the body we keep a lot of memories, we keep a lot of sensations, and it's called in that moment trauma. So when you put your hands very soft in somebody, in a body, in no specific space, when you touch softly, very soft, the body start feeling this safeness again,
Mm.
and the neurological system start to come down and release all this information that it has in a way that a memory. So one of the biggest things that have the bars for me, it's not re-traumatize the person again. When you touch the body, the person doesn't need to think what happened, when it happened, who was in there. So that is an amazing thing of these tools, because the body start changing the information. And we have this vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve sends 80% of the information to the brain. The brain just received that information, and just the brain send an information 20% to react, to have a reaction. So if you release all this information, if you erase all these memories from the body, your brain start to reacting in a different mode. Actually, not reacting. It's just like doing things not from the past, just in the present moment.
Yeah. And it's interesting because one of the things the creator, Gary Douglas, would always say is like when you have a bar session, it's like defragging your computer called your brain
Hmm.
or your mind. And it really is this interesting, like like you said, there's nothing you have to do. It's just your willingness to just relax, lay there,
Yes.
you know? And for me, my first session, as soon as she touched the back of my head and the third eye, I said, "What is this? I have to tell the whole world about it." And
Yeah.
it was the first 5 seconds, it wasn't even that long, but it was like, it was really like, and I know not everyone has the same reaction.
Hmm.
We're all going to experience things different, and that's the beauty of
Yes.
each of us. But look at how often, when we talked about that story of babies, like when they have touch, how different their experience is, and also what they choose, what's next.
Yes.
And when that is not there, what else happens? And it's not always death or living, because there's other parameters, with
Yeah.
choice. But there is this welcoming of opening the doors of receiving when you start to get your bars run. And you described it because you're like that defragging, you're releasing these points of views, these considerations that have been locked in your head or in
Yeah.
your brain or whatever. And as you let that go, you and your body actually have choice.
Yes. Yes, this is very important, because when you are in a survivor mode, you have no choice. You just can react. You just have a reaction to survive. So when you go out of this space, you start to create your life, because it's in a different way that you are function with the whole world and with the whole people.
Yeah. It's actually interesting. One of my, I'd say, clients that came to me was actually during a global bars day. When all around the world we have an event where people can get together and get their bars run. And she asked me afterwards, my daughter's 11.
Hmm.
She, in the last 6 months, hasn't been able to really walk well. Like she started to have pain in her legs, and she has been to every doctor, chiropractor, homeopath, any doctor, physical therapist,
Yeah,
commercial, like medicine versus non-traditional, and nothing seems to work, and no one seems to be able to diagnose what it is.
yeah,
And she said, "Can you help her?" And I said, "I have no idea. You have to bring her, like we have to see her. We have to see what it is." And I invited them to a class, a bars class. And she came. The venue I had stairs. She couldn't go down because she had crutches. So her mom carried her down.
mhm.
I carried the crutches. Do you know, after 8 hours of bars, she ran bars on her mother, every participant in the class, she got her bars run. By the end of the day, she was doing somersaults and like literally carried her own crutches in her hand as she jumped
Wow.
up going up the stairs. Now, okay, this miracle, I'm not promising any miracles for anyone else, but it was like what her and her body were creating, the change they were willing to receive and create was
Yeah,
miraculous,
yes, yes.
you know?
And I love to hear that stories because I always try to connect with this neurological part, and when we are in the bump of a mother, we receive all the hormones of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you bring something from your birth, it's interesting because most of the things have something to do with our experience of the mothers. So they are scary or something, or they was moving to another place, or the family breakdown, something like that, and all these hormones goes to the baby body. So if you start touching the body or touching the bars, all this information goes out of this body, and the people changes. It's very biological, the thing. We have a lot of miracles in this part of the history, because we have not this point of view that it's not unchangeable something. So the interesting thing is when you are willing to do something and you don't know what's the result of that session.
Yeah. The beauty was that was on a Saturday. Monday, they saw the doctor. X-ray, CAT scan, they couldn't find anything. And I interviewed them. I kept in touch with them for a long time. And then 5 years later, I interviewed them on my podcast. She's a superstar athlete, volleyball. She's like it was so beautiful because like you described it, as the pain was there, she was starting to hide. She was not really going out. She was in pain. She couldn't move the crutches. But then when all of this went away, like
Yeah,
she shined. She became more of herself and she was able to create, like you said, the
yeah,
creation of her life. And hers included theater and volleyball and friends. And I'm not saying like each of us is going to have a unique experience. We have our own histories, we have our own
yeah,
ways of dealing with things. There is no one size fits all for any of the tools of access consciousness. Disclaimer, you know.
yeah.
And but just the invitation to what is available when you are the one choosing, letting go the considerations that we learned or grew up with or duplicated, or things of that sort.
Yes, yes. And I have something more to say. I know I am a health professional, but always in this reality has the sense that the doctor or the physiotherapist or the osteopath has the reason. And one of the biggest things that has that access consciousness is that it's empower you to know what you know.
Yeah.
And today in my practice, I always ask to the person, okay, what do you know about this? What is happening in your body? And just let me follow you. It's I don't have the answer. I just want to follow you and go with you in this journey. And and when you recover yourself, you recover your body, you recover your own awareness about your body, everything starts to change. And it's one of the beautiful things of access consciousness, that you start to recover your power, not just from the outside, it's in your body, and all the functions in your body, they start to work different, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's beautiful, truly beautiful. Tell me, we only have a couple more minutes. Is there anything specific from this book that you want to share with all of those that are listening today?
I like to share this part here, that we understand the world in a different way, and everything that we see, everything that we smell, everything that we touch, when it goes into the body, into the brain, is just electricity, just electrical signals. Okay, so when you touch these cables, these nerves here, maybe in this part here, the people who runs bar knows what I'm touching. When you touch here, on when you touch here, on when you touch in this part, you are putting a small pressure on this cable. So when you put this small pressure on the cable start to flowing this electrical signal in a very slow way. So the thing is, this wave that we was talking after, if you touch the cables, the electricity that goes into the brain starts to go slowly, very slow. And that's the biggest change when you run bars. You are changing these waves because you are touching mechanically the nerves that sense this information. So I just made a reel, and I said energy and biological is not in fight. It's the same thing, just in a different language. And it's the biggest thing that I understand, and I try to find, and I try to put in this book. The real thing is open your mind to a different uh, point of view, not just something like very, very small and very tight. Like, no, it's just energy, it's just energy, and oh no, it's just biological. None. So you can go with these two words together, and you will find very, very, very things in common.
Yeah, amazing. My father actually says this conversation is so much of what I was requiring today. For the past few weeks, my body's been going through quite a few changes, and everybody has their opinion and point of view about it. And the way this conversation is going is giving me such a different sense of it's okay that I know my body and how it works for it. I'm super grateful for both of you for saying that. Thank you. Awesome. So
Wow,
glad to
thank you
hear.
so much.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It is. It's like, but again, what you talked about earlier, it's the journey you're on. You get to choose your journey. You get to choose the track. It's just that sometimes that journey starts with, I have a headache, or there's something going on in my body, or this thing's going on with my business, or anything else that's going on. And that's one of the things that I truly love about the Access Consciousness
Mhm.
tools. It's it embodies so many different things. It has so many different topics. It addresses relationships, your business, your body, relaxation, all sorts of different things, your voice, and empowers you to become more aware of what's really going on for you.
Yes.
And then you have choice. What would you like to choose from this new moment that you have gained this awareness? So, anything else you want to say about the book before we go?
No, I just want to invite you to share it, to play with it. This book has this sensualness or something like that inside, because it's not like just information. It's a place to play. So play with you, play with your body, play with the tools, and try to find this happy way to go in the book, and enjoy it. just like that. Just go and enjoy it and try to in love of yourself again with this book.
I love it. Amazing. And if you guys are curious, the book currently is available in English and Spanish. You can find it on acpublishing.com, where we have all the information there for you. And we have many languages that are here today. You got to be a little demanding. We had our Italians who became very demanding. So I'm curious how soon that book will be translated. Just remember, you guys, translation is not an overnight process. So be demanding of the languages you like, but that's the piece. The more demand there is, there's more energy there. There's also more possibilities for futures. So let us know if you guys are interested. Audiobook. Is an audiobook available?
No, it's available,
Not
but I want
yet.
to do it in Spanish. Yes, I want to read it and show it. Yeah.
Well, I raised my hand if you want it in English.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Juanjo. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that you actually took the step to listen and actually follow the energy that this book was actually inviting you to come and cooperate with it and actually bring it to life.
Yes, thank you so much, Laleh. It was really amazing, all these things. Every Zoom or every interview that I have, it's like an unbelievable process for me because when the people said, "Oh, it was hard to do it," and it was very easy. It was just like you said, follow the energy of the book and follow the energy of how the book wants to be. So it was very cool.
Yeah, and I look forward to it being in many languages and also what else will be created from here. Because, this is the beginning. And you guys know with AC Publishing, we've been around a very long time. And the journey of that author and the voice that it brings out in the books, we would just love everyone to know that it's there and it's possible. So spread the news that we have lots of different books. And yeah, I wonder where this particular book will be trickling to, because
Yeah.
that's the thing. We're having this conversation here, but I just wonder, as the energies kind of flow, where they're going to land. And thank
Yes.
you for all of those who coordinated because we have so many languages here that I can't even name them off because there's so many languages.
Yes. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yes, thank you, translators, and thank you for all the wizards behind the scenes that made this happen, and also the wizards at AC Publishing who will be bringing this out. This will also be available on YouTube. You guys can go to AC Publishing YouTube and be able to find it for a replay. Okay. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Bye bye.